Breaking news out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Scott Frost is out as head coach of the Huskers. Nebraska Director of Athletics Trev Alberts releasing a statement that says in part, quote, "After the disappointing start to our season, I decided the best path forward for our program was to make a change." Brandon Marcello joins us. And Brandon, the interesting part about all of this is his buyout. It drops from $15 million to just $7.5 million on October 1st. That's just 3 weeks away. Why not wait until then to make this move?
Well, apparently they still feel like they can salvage the season and that Scott Frost was not able to do that. And if they just remove him from the fold, maybe they could still have a winning season, maybe get to a bowl game. At least that's the feeling I get from all of this. I mean, it's very clear that, listen, there's a lot of money flowing in the Big Ten now, as we know, with all the new media rights deals. And they didn't see an extra $7.5 million waiting for a discount was worth it over these next 3 weeks. Because one, what if he beats Oklahoma this week? Now, that's probably not going to happen, likely not going to happen, but you just don't want to leave those possibilities out there when you're already convinced that Scott Frost is not the guy.
Yeah, you mentioned it. We also kind of circled this upcoming Week 3 matchup with Oklahoma as a potential job saver for Frost. Obviously, will not get the chance now, but as you look ahead to that game, how do you see things playing out with Mickey Joseph starting as the interim head coach in a pretty tough test?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, I would be surprised if Nebraska's even able to keep this one within single digits, considering just the talent level Nebraska has, the way they've been playing right now. Effort has not been an issue with Nebraska this season. You watch these first two games of theirs, and they're playing pretty hard. They were playing hard against Georgia Southern, and they still lost that game. OU just so much more talented, so much deeper. If they somehow kept it within single digits, I think that would have to view that as a win. But this week, and really maybe for most of the season, it's a wash. It's just about trying to maybe get to a bowl game somehow, some way, and rally together.
Seems pretty crazy that we're doing this in early September, but who are some early names we should keep an eye on?
You know, these are the names I really like and I think make a lot of sense. And Nebraska for too long has tried to get coaches that have connections to the school there. Obviously, I think they need to look for someone who has, one, some experience and understands how to coach in the Big Ten. Doesn't necessarily have to be a coach who's in the Big Ten right now, but someone who understands the Big Ten, because Nebraska has been floating out in the ether since they left the Big 12 a decade ago. So look at Mark Stoops of Kentucky. He is the hot name out there right now. Completely has revitalized Kentucky. Just passed up Bear Bryant as the winningest coach in Kentucky history when he beat Florida this past week. A name I really like is Jim Leonhard, the defensive coordinator at Wisconsin, played at Wisconsin, understands the Big Ten, what it takes to win there. Also, one of the top defensive coordinators in the country, recently turned down the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator job. A hot riser, will be a Power 5 head coach soon. Nebraska should maybe try and look at him quickly. And how about Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator at Baylor, a guy with some offensive line experience as a coach, came up their ranks, went from coaching offensive lines to calling plays at BYU and Baylor, and has been all across the country from the SEC to the Big 12 and everywhere in between. This guy gets it. He's going to be a Power 5 head coach within the next year or two. Nebraska should really give a good look at him. And then there's some other names that are going to be pretty common you're going to hear quite a bit. Kansas's Lance Leopold, who has revitalized Kansas just in year two there. And then, of course, maybe Matt Rule, the Carolina Panthers head coach, the NFL. There's a lot of programs out there, whether it's this year or next year, they're going to be hoping and praying that Carolina loses some games because they really want to hire Matt Rule, who, of course, previously had a lot of success as Baylor's head coach.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. A lot to think about and a long season ahead for Husker fans. Well, for more on this developing story, head to Husker 24/7 and 247sports.com.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.